Hello, everyone. My name is Tony Picciano. I'm with Neuritris Microcurrent Systems, and today I wanted to introduce Sherry Callahan. She flew in from Arizona to come together for a meeting here at the Neuritris Center, and she would like to, Sherry Callahan like to bring her ideas on how to offer more. Um, Success to the clients out there in the world who have our machines to try to help them during these difficult times. What Sherry does is she's a business development manager with Neuritris, and she offers solutions for our clients and any client that wants to improve the bottom line sales in their salon. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about, Sherry and I are going to kind of carry on a conversation, and we're just going to talk about what she does and how she can offer benefits, and this is where we are. So Sherry Callahan, just say hi to everyone out there.
Hi guys.
Right.
Welcome back from the COVID situation. I know we're still ongoing, but you know what? Things are opening up and turning around. So I know a lot of you are getting back to work, and that's very exciting. So I'm excited to work with Neuritris and helping you better understand how to get that average dollar up so that even if all the clients are coming back, that you're actually increasing your average dollar using this amazing machine. And then just helping you also think about ways to surround the business of Neuritris with the business you already have so that your average dollar is where it needs to be. So that's what we'll be talking about a little bit.
All right, that's good. So let me kind of give you a little bit of background here. What Sherry does is she uh, collaborates with our customers. After they purchase a machine, Sherry is available to offer her services and her ability to offer solutions that will help with that bottom line number. And that's kind of what we do here. We are full. I believe in a full circle of service. We really don't want to just sell a machine, put it on the table, and say, okay, make money, because the machine isn't going to jump out and make you money. It's going to take the support team that goes along with that purchase to be successful. And that's what we do here at Neuritris. It's not just a piece of hardware. It's support, and we have a full team ranging from our technical trainers, which will give you the technical training. And Sherry Callahan can also discuss attributes or how to be successful in selling the services, and that's what's really important too, right? And I always believe, Sherry, and I don't know, I always like to ask this question: what do you think makes an esthetician successful in the industry? What attributes are important for success?
Oh, that's probably the primary question, because I think that far too often when I'm at skincare shows, I really see estheticians walking around looking for the newest gadget, the newest technique, the newest this or that. And it's not that those aren't great things to look at, but ultimately the magic happens at the end of the two arms there. That's the magic, and also what you put up in here. So an esthetician has to do their due diligence to understand the science of what it is they do to take it to the next level, and then realize that everything is a tool. So Neuritris is a tool, your skincare company is a tool, LED is a tool, radio frequency is a tool. Everything's a tool, but the magic is you. And so when you're looking outside yourself, if you're looking outside yourself for the tool to do it all, it would be like going to a trainer at the gym and the trainer expecting the trainer to turn your body into something fantastic. They can only do that if they have compliance from you, if you are bringing your expertise to the field. So my responsibility in working with Neuritris, and by the way, it's a complimentary, so it's not something you pay extra for. When you purchase a Neuritris machine, you get that marketing from me. And the benefit to that is we're trying to get you to get that ROI back as quickly as possible, regardless of whether you are going on terms or where you're paying cash. If you pay cash, you still took it out of your savings. It's still money that you don't have there that you need to replace, right? And so so many times people look at it as, I'm making money. Well, you're actually not making money until that piece of equipment is paid off. Now you're making money. You may have cash flow, but in terms of really making money, that happens once that piece of equipment is paid for. So my job becomes, how fast can we get that turned around? When I bought my first Neuritris, I paid off the machine in 6 days. And so that is possible to do. And it's because I come from a background of sales. And so I was a corporate sales trainer for many, many years. And I found when I became an esthetician later in life that in this industry, we are simply not taught that in school. So we're taught how to be good technicians. And those of us that really master the science become excellent technicians, but we're not necessarily very good at selling our value, not just selling the value of the machine that you're pushing or the product that you're pushing, but getting them to buy into you. Because if you getting them to buy into the piece of equipment is not what you actually want them to buy into. You want them to buy into your word and what your competence is what they're buying into. And then the fact that you choose Nurtress, if you're competent and you've chosen Nurtress, what's that say about Nurtress, right? So that's actually where the respect needs to come from, because otherwise it's just always the bigger, better deal, right? Which limb am I going to swing from to get to the next bigger, better deal? And the bottom line needs to be you. So there's a combination. When Tony and I first got together, I said, you're putting out a really good machine, but the thing you have to remember is when you send that machine out, you're sending it to somebody that, just got out of aesthetic school and doesn't know a blackhead from a whitehead, and you're sending it to somebody like myself or somebody that's been in the industry a while, same exact machine. Well, that would be like taking a Ferrari and putting it in the hands of a 16-year-old and expecting that car to perform at the same level as if you put a race car driver in it. Same exact car, but it would drive differently, right? So why do we expect that just because we take a great machine and we put it in the hands of somebody that maybe hasn't done their homework, or really doesn't have the back bar to support it, or doesn't know how to sell retail, or doesn't surround that series that they're selling with all the support necessary to accomplish those goals that they now have told their client that they can achieve, it's not going to work. And so what my job is when we get together is to make sure, I ask you a lot about your back bar. What are you using? How are you supporting that client? How are you going to roll this out? What are you going to say to them to create your value? The actual language, because language is called the language of needs, because people buy needs, they don't buy circumstances. So they don't buy wants, they buy needs. And you have to help them identify and admit that it is truly a need. You have to confirm that it's a need by getting them to use the language of needs back at you. Like if I said, would this be important to you to have this? So is this result something you're looking for? That's all the language of needs. You want to get the client to come back and say, yes, it would be. When you have that, you actually have a need. Then you can go into creating the value and go from there. So that's kind of the dialogue we have so that you can get that ROI back. And I work with you pretty closely to make sure that you're staying on track.
That's really good. I think that's really important. What I've learned, especially from your, going through your classes, that the success classes, it's really about, I found two things that's needed to be successful. And the two things that I've learned is, and I think you just said it here, is you have to have the knowledge. You need to have the science and the knowledge to understand. I would think that if you have a back bar of products, you really need to know your products in order to sell that to your client. If you don't know the products, it's hard to sell it. It's the same thing with the machine and the services. You really need to understand the science a little bit behind it and how it works. Mm-hmm. And also be confident. I think it's the knowledge and confidence that makes success. I think that's kind of what you
otherwise you're right, because otherwise what you're really talking about, people buy, features and benefits. Features are bells and whistles, right? So the machine's pretty, it lights up a certain way, it does certain things, but really being able to get the client to really understand and value what that does really comes in the communication, because you can have it in a manual all day long. It doesn't mean they're getting the value across to them. I always use this analogy with people when I'm doing a training with them. I'll say, you take two bathing suits and one's $40 and one's $200. And if I didn't tell you anything about them and I asked you which bathing suit you wanted, you would say the $40 one, because it just makes sense, right? Nobody wants to spend money. Nobody wants to, but yet we buy all day long. We buy constantly. So we are being sold. But we're buying what we value. Mm-hmm. And so if I didn't have you try it on, if I didn't do anything, if I just what I call show up and throw up, I just gave you the bathing suits and said pick one, you're going to ask the price and you're going to pick the lowest one. And that's what a lot of SDs think is selling, and that's not selling, because what ends up happening is there's no value there. They're going to go for price alone, and that's never going to work. It'll work sometimes, but you won't be able to count on it. So But if I told you, go in the dressing room and put it on, and you put the $40 one on, and it shows every dimple, and it's all thin, and you can see through it, and then you put the $200 one on, and it makes you look 10 pounds lighter and smooths everything out, I promise you, you're going to steal from your food budget. You are going to buy that bathing suit. I don't care what price it is. So when people try to tell you, Sherry, you know, I can't get clients to spend what you get, you know, I may live in a different area. I know those of you out there really believe that. I'm going to ask you to just believe me that that's just not the case. What's really going down is you haven't really learned how to sell your value to that client, not only the value of the machine itself and your treatments, but your own personal value, why they would believe in you, and why when you tell them you can do something, you can do it. Once they believe in that, then no, so I have questions like, you don't sell a microcurrent series to a brand new client that's off the street, right? You're not selling $2,000 series right off the street. I'm like, I do it all the time and more. I sold a couple of $14,000 package the first time they walked in. So yes, you can, if you understand how to communicate your value to that end user, and then you support your business with companies that bring the same kind of expertise and quality that you expect out of yourself. So I'm going to repeat that. You have to expect out of yourself the same quality of experience and expertise as you're asking Tony to bring to you. So if you're asking him to put out a really good machine, you must also do your due diligence to make sure you're matching that in knowledge. And if you don't have it right now, that's why where I come into line is to get you up there pretty quickly. And I think that those of you that have worked with me, have purchased a Nurtris, and have had an opportunity to work with me, if you can comment below, that would be awesome, because I know that a lot of you have really increased your business. Not because I'm so great, it's because I understand some techniques that you have listened to, because honestly, it doesn't do any good for me to tell you if you don't implement it into your business. You have to become that value. You have to. And don't try to be me. Don't try to be somebody else out there that you think is so good at it. And I hear all the time, I'm not you, Sherry. I can't sell like you. I don't want you to be me. I just want you to be a better you. I just want to take your business up 30, 40%. Just make yourself better. Do it your way. But you will have clients that come to you for you. You don't have to be anybody else.
Right. No, I think that's all true. You know, and it's really funny. It brings up questions that come to me, you know, out in the field when I hear with the customers talking to me, you know, especially that, you know, they want to, when they're looking to buy equipment, whether it's my machine or something else. We know Nurtris, I really believe we deliver the best quality. And people say, well, I want to try the machine because I want to see a result. Well, you know, we already know the machine works, and I don't need anyone really to try the machine. We know it works. See, I believe that it's more about delivering the proper expectations to your client to make them understand what goals they can achieve, and do that and deliver that with confidence and knowledge. And that's what makes the machine work so well. Because, you know, these machines work with continuous use and compliance. It's compliance. If you don't, customer's not going to comply, well, it's going to be difficult for them to achieve some of what they're looking for. We know the machine can do it. It's just getting that customer to comply. And I believe you can give that message to these customers to deliver proper expectations and goals so they can be successful. And I think that's what you bring to the table, what's really important. And people say, well, I want to buy a machine, and the only way I'm going to buy it if it gives a result. And they expect the machine to do the work. I think the esthetician and the practitioner needs to do the work to provide expectation goals properly and deliver the message with confidence. That's what works.
Yes, and some of that is the treatment, but a lot of it, most of it, is in the communication, the value of itself of what you're doing. And then getting them to commit back to you, because honestly, otherwise you're just what I call, you know, again, showing up and throwing up. You're just dropping a bunch of information. I'm sure a lot of you don't even realize it's happening, but you'll go into what you think is selling, and you're giving them a lot of information. I know Tony said he used to do this, and he'd get done and they'd be looking at him like he had three heads, like, okay, well, you just went on for 10 minutes, but I never said I cared about any of that. And so it's really about how do we do that communication properly in a way that they are following you the entire time. And most of this is how to handle objections, guys, because there's always going to be low-hanging fruit, right? You guys know what that is? It means the people that walk into your treatment room and say, I saw something on microcurrent, I want that. Okay, well, that's beautiful. When that happens, it's like, yes, that's great. But you know how that just doesn't happen very often, right? And most of the time, you're turning somebody that says, I would never spend $2,000, all of a sudden they're leaving that day spending $2,000. That's selling of value. That's not stuffing a product down someone's throat. That's not giving them something they don't value. That is giving them what they communicated to you that they needed, and you responded by getting them to confirm that they need it, and then you provided what you have to offer that's going to provide that. And you do it in such a way that they hear you, and then they get scared, because think about it, anytime you make a purchase, guys, it's scary. Think about when you bought your home, you were scared. When you buy a car, it's like buying a house. They have you signing papers like this. You're scared. Anytime you're putting any kind of investment out there, you're afraid. So if those of you are feeling like, well, it's just so scary, what have you purchased that you're not a little afraid? It's kind of normal. The main thing is that if you're going to be in business for yourself, what separates us from working for someone else is all the risk, right? So when you're an entrepreneur, you're basically investing in your business first, and then you're like, I hope they come. Well, most of us are going, well, I hope they come. And instead of myself, who has the skills, I go, no, I know they will. So when I went to a class with Tony, I wasn't planning on purchasing a machine that day. But I saw it. I knew what it could do because I'd seen a lot of microcurrent and frankly gotten pretty frustrated with it. So I kind of knew what it could do. And so when I talked to the other people in the class, I said, you're going to get this, right? And they're like, oh, yeah. I mean, I just got to have it. I'm like, you're going to buy it, right? You're going to buy it today? Well, I'm going to, go back to my treatment room, and I'm going to talk to my clients, and and I just started laughing. And they said, what are you laughing for? And I said, well, that's like that'd be like going to a dealership and the guy saying to you, well, when you tell me you really want that Buick, I'll go get some inventory. I mean, who in the world would do business with that guy? I mean, he just has no skin in the game. He doesn't believe in himself. Why would you buy from that person? So if you're going to be an entrepreneur, the thing you must get used to as normal, Tony has it, I have it. There's no person that's in business for themselves that doesn't have it. They learn to manage it and live with it. Is there always, that feeling, Tony, that sits right there, that you get anytime you take a leap of faith in your business and you kind of go, whew, okay, I really hope this works. What I'm trying to do is provide the support behind that choice. You still have to make the choice, sign the paper, say, yes, we're buying that machine. But then what we're doing as teaming up together is to come in and help take a little bit of that fear away by giving you some techniques that you could do ASAP to pull in. Because honestly, all you need to do is sell those first 3 or 4 series and you're on your way. Your confidence grows. What I don't want to see happen is you purchase the machine because somebody told you it's great, i.e. me or somebody else. And then all of a sudden it sits because you're afraid to get it out of your mouth. You're afraid to sell it. And then it doesn't matter how great the machine is if it's sitting on your counter. And what I don't want to have happen is, what I want to have happen is somebody runs into someone who has it at a show and they go, yeah, I get it because it has turned my business upside down, right? I mean, my average dollar is amazing. What I don't want to have happen, and I pointed this out to Tony when we first got together, if we don't make sure that we follow that sale all the way around, not just the purchase of the machine, but actually help that person become successful. At first, it doesn't make sense, right? You think, well, he sells a machine, he's a manufacturer. Why would he get involved with whether or not, we sell it? We paid for it. His thing is done. That's the way it looks. But the reason why customer service really matters is because if we can help you with your ROI and get it back quickly, then what's going to happen, as I told him, I said, just because you don't know it's happening doesn't mean you're not losing money. Case can happen where you have 2 estheticians meeting at a skin show, and one has got, several $1,000s in their wallet, and the other one had just bought a machine 6 months ago, and they go up, the one that's looking to buy it goes up and says, I heard you have a nurturist. I have some money in my pocket. I'm thinking of buying it today. Tell me about it. And out of her mouth comes, well, I love the machine, and every time I use it, it works. But, I just really have a hard time selling it, and I just don't know what to say. And then what I hear as the person, because I got that fear still, like the money's in my pocket, but I got that fear that I just got done talking to you about. Where she hears is, oh, right? And so what Tony doesn't know is he's not there in that moment. I'm not there in that moment to grab that person and say, let me help you, right? So what we realized is if we can help the person who is purchasing the equipment become successful very quickly, those machines will sell themselves, because what you'll be doing is telling everybody how amazing it is. And that's really the benefit of what we do. So just when you look at customer service, and I think, you know, I've been on the planet longer than some of you. So I remember when customer service used to be customer service, and it's very hard to run into that today. But if you look at what Tony and I are doing together, both with manufacturing an excellent product, the best on the market, hands down, and I've used them all, to actually teaming up with somebody who not only knows how to sell, but does the job herself. Because you can know sales, but if you're not an esthetician, you don't understand how to incorporate their back bar to make sure you get better performance. So with being able to surround that sale with what it is we do together, I think it's really helped the Nurtress brand. It certainly has done great things for both of us. So we're looking to take that to you guys and help you feel a little bit more comfortable.
Well, I think that's good. In fact, that we have a part 2 coming up where we're going to talk about how everyone can get together. Anyone has an interest to learn more about how you'd be successful and make money in the salon and sell the services and even handle objections that come in the room so you can sell the services.
Well, yeah.
So yeah, and in part 2, we're going to talk about how they can get to meet you and see you and how we can put together.
Well, because you guys think about it, you know, think of Nurtress. When you think about Nurtress, you think about it because it's really the #1 microcurrent out there. And one of the ways to be #1 is to be proactive. It's really easy when COVID hits or a crisis hits to get into fear. But companies that really want to stay in the front of everything just, you know, don't stand in a corner and shake. They decide, hey, we gotta do business differently. And so instead of waiting for you to hopefully send leads in or hey, we might be interested, it's like, well, let's take it to them, because I hear so much back from estheticians that really want an opportunity to not only touch the machine, maybe it's not in their area, or they want an opportunity to feel more comfortable because they've talked to me in person. So what we'd like to do is we'd like to see whether there's an opportunity to maybe take this on the road per se. So be in tune because #2 is coming.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening.
Bye.
Bye.